This is Dance Studio 411, where we answer your real-life questions about your toughest studio life predicaments. Parent problems, teacher turnover, student challenges, policy dilemmas, and so much more. Let's talk about what's keeping you awake at night and what you can do about it. Here are your hosts, Suzanne Blake Gerety and Jill Tirone.
Welcome, everyone, to this episode of our Dance Studio 411 podcast. I am really excited about today's topic that Jill and I get to share about, which is dance studio industry data. It's the key data that we hope makes a difference for you, especially now as we help you position your studio for growth to emerge from this pandemic and come out stronger and more informed about ways that you can grow enrollment and make your business be the best, both efficient and inspiring place it can be, right, Jill?
Absolutely. I think the nuggets and the information we're going to share today is going to be pretty eye-opening and certainly empowering for all of our listeners.
Exactly. So for those of you who have known us throughout the years, we've done variations on this seminar at various industry events, at our own Energize conference. We really love this topic because we regularly survey our customer base, which is studio owners from all over the world. Most of our information today will reflect studio owners in North America, so Canada and the US, but we get hundreds and hundreds of responses and we regularly send these surveys. So if you're someone listening that has taken the time to respond to our surveys, we appreciate you so much because this helps us not only be the best source of support for you, but it also helps us predict ways that we can help you. So it's a predictor and a current help. So I know, Jill, we always appreciate every survey that comes in, don't we?
Oh, we absolutely do, because the information is so incredibly valuable, and the key data that we can analyze and then give back out to everybody is really what's going to make a huge difference in your business. So Suzanne, now that we're talking about the survey, why don't you share a little bit of the information that you have with regards to things like enrollment, classes, performances. What are you seeing from the latest survey?
Exactly. So the good news is that, as we know, everyone on this call, every listener, you are resourceful and creative. And so most of our dance studio owners are holding classes, and they're either doing them 100% in person, but most of you are finding a way to host a mix of online and in person. Thankfully, we are only reporting a few studios that have completely halted classes, but the majority are in person as we continue to see hopefully the benefits of the vaccine rollout, that in-person classes will increase, but way to go to keep your classes running. So that's a positive trend, Jill, because when we surveyed this back in the summer last year, there was a lot of classes not being held. So almost the entire industry has solved for how to hold classes, whether it be in person, only online, or a mix of both.
Such good news. That's awesome.
Yes. And as you said, so the enrollment trends, now we've been asking this question for a long time because of COVID's impact on enrollment. And so many of you out there listening might say, oh, am I the only studio facing this down enrollment? We are here to say, unfortunately, no, everyone is facing a decrease in enrollment just due to the pandemic. And so we ask regularly, what percentage increase has your enrollment either increased or decreased this year? And overwhelmingly, like 50% of dance studios report a decrease in enrollment this year in the 20 to 50% range. So let me repeat that.
Mm-hmm.
Overwhelmingly, 50% of studios surveyed are reporting 20 to 50% decrease. And then another 17 to 20% are reporting over 50% decrease. So if you take that, that's nearly 2/3 of the entire population of a big decrease in enrollment. What does this mean for us? I mean, Jill, you've seen it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising, right? So we know that that's the issue. We know that that's the case. What we'll have to do is just take a look at this and now think about how we can take that trend and move it forward.
Exactly. So when we ask this enrollment trend, though, we've been lately asking, has there been any uptick, though, overall? And here's what is the really great news. You are all of our survey takers, and if you're listening to this and you're looking for glimmers of hope, we are seeing an increase in enrollment in these last few months, and not giant waves. So although I wish that were the case, because I wish that to be my own studio, we're seeing a slight uptick. And I know even Jill, on our member Facebook group, we see people saying, oh my gosh, this is amazing. We got, some more preschoolers in this month, or people are finally coming back to dance. It's a slow roll, but we're starting to see it, and that's encouraging.
Very encouraging. Awesome. Okay. Anything else from the survey that you can give our listeners today, Suzanne?
I think the biggest thing to think of is that because the enrollment impact has been so significant, that every one of you listening has had to get creative and maybe combine class ages a little bit more. You've had to, make a really strong decision about whether or not to run classes with lower enrollment, and to realize that you're not alone here. Again, once the takeaway is that it might look terrible on paper this season, but it's okay that you're doing that to save your business. Jill, you and I have been teaching this from the get-go. We have all had to make what feels like sometimes drastic measures here to get to the other side, and know that as you start to look ahead and we help you grow enrollment, start to think about, okay, what am I going to slowly bring back? So, which leads us into kind of the performance season, right? And, if there was anything I can say about the performance season last year, was everyone is a miracle worker, right? We've seen people put on shows from parking lots to parks to everything in between. And what we're seeing, and this is a great trend, nearly 90% of our studios are reporting a planned spring or summer show in 2021. That's extraordinary from where we were even when we were in the middle of the pandemic. I mean, Jill, it's amazing.
That's great. That is such good news to know that the data is showing that we are going to make these performances happen, and we're going to do it in any which way that we can. So good news on that front. Excellent.
Exactly. And that's what we're working on here at dancestudioowner.com, is working with our team of experts to help you pull off recitals, shows creatively in ways that you never imagined you could. So you can really look forward to that coming up. And if there's any takeaway, which all of you are probably feeling, is that the season's a little bit delayed this year. Everyone who maybe in the past, the trend in the industry was most recitals happened in May and they trickled out in June. We're now seeing a reported trend that most people are end of May and into June. We're going to see that, and that might have a ripple effect as you listen to this on your summer enrollment and into fall. And Jill and I are so excited about some of the things she's going to talk about next, because we're going to help you with that enrollment into, using this data to help you build your enrollment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, Jill, you're my resident expert on everything digital marketing. Not only do you have such great insight for the studio owners on the small business side, but you get to see all kinds of analytics in all the studios we work with. So do you want to share maybe a little bit of some of the things you're seeing that would help studio owners as they position for growth as it relates to all things digital?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Suzanne. So in looking at your analytics, let's start by saying first, if you're not looking at your analytics, this would be a good time to put on your researcher hat and figure out how you can get some of this data from your own website, from your own social media. If you're not having a regular kind of key metrics check-in, this would be a good time to put that on the calendar and do that. If you put 1 hour a month into looking at some of your reporting, this will put you ahead of the curve for a lot of the industry data that you want to glean. Things like, who is coming to my website? Where are they coming from? And what are they looking for? Because once you have this data, then you can help take a peek at your website and look at things like navigation. Are people able to find what they're looking for on my website easily? So if they're looking for scheduling information, if they're looking for policy information, especially with all of the changing things, going virtual, being back in person, if you know that they're looking for that, but it's hard to find, it would be a good time to then take a move of things in your navigation or put things right on your homepage so that it makes it very easy for them to maneuver and take that journey through your website, because that's what you want. You want it to be a very easy process for them.
Exactly. And so I know for podcast listeners, if they are not comfortable with even knowing where to begin on to find that data, where do they go?
So Google Analytics is definitely the key for this. So if you have a Google Analytics account, you start there and then you tie it into your website. So if you haven't been able to do that yet, you can check it out and YouTube some videos and look at how to do it yourself if you're managing your own website, or if you have somebody that's working on your website for you, raise your hand and let them know that you definitely want Google Analytics tracking in your website.
Love it. I know I've really learned to love the data thanks to you and what it means, because at my own studio, we've used that information to really bolster our schedule page, because it's our
Mhm.
top hit page on our site. And what you think might be the page that everyone's visiting, you never know. And it gives you an opportunity to really take advantage of that real estate and make the most of it. So that's a great tip, Jill. I mean, I know that it's not the like most exciting part of running a dance studio business, but you and I both know what we share here with our listeners on the podcast and with our members. It's the little bit of leveling up that sets
Mhm.
you apart.
It is. And what you said is perfect. It's not exciting unless you're really into spreadsheets and analytics and things like that. It's kind of the boring thing. It's almost like doing your taxes or your monthly billing, all of that, all of those things that you have to do that you really don't want to do. But sit down, find time in your calendar to do it, because once you see how empowering the data actually makes it, you were spot on, Suzanne. This will give you a competitive edge, and this will put you out in front of somebody who's not paying any attention to what people are actually looking for on their website. So I think it's a really good time to take some. Now, Google Analytics can get very overwhelming. So let's just preface it by saying, if you get it working on your site and you do a little bit of searching through the Google Analytics data and you pull out those nuggets, it would be simple things, basically keywords, what people are looking for. It will be things like how many people are going to your site, when they're going to your site. Suzanne, in a minute, you're going to talk about some really great data that you're gleaning from some of your local information on the websites, or sorry, on the Google searches.
Yeah.
But it's really valuable data to put in place and put into practice in your calendar and get it done. Even just once a month will be perfect.
I love that. And that kind of takes us right into the next topic. We did a great coaching call with our members on social media marketing and productivity. Jill, you led that. It was so informative. What was it that one of our members said? It was the what?
It was
The
the
best,
kick
like,
the kick in the tutu that she needed.
yes,
Absolutely.
the kick, that was adorable. I love that she said it was the kick in the tutu. Because once again, it goes back to when times are strange, what they are now, and when things are kind of not at the pace that we're used to. Everything says you want to make it go away, but we say actually use this time to turn around all the things you haven't been doing or that you haven't felt you had the time for, right?
Right. And I think our time is very limited, especially now. You've seen it in the last year. Everybody's working probably harder than they ever have and putting in more time. But if you're going to take any type of policy, any type of class, put a new one in, take it away, new policies, anything that you want to do, now is the time to do it. If something's not working, kind of blow it up, try something new, put it on the schedule and get it done. If a policy doesn't work for you, or you're now finding things like, oh, I never thought I needed to think about that, this is the time to redo those policies and put them forward facing on your website. Again, you're going to see a lot of uptick in people searching for certain things. Absentee policy. What are we going to do if we have to go virtual again? All of those good things. So use the data to empower you to make changes. And we've seen from our members, Suzanne, that a lot of these changes they've actually made people feel very good. The studio owners are feeling liberated, and they're feeling like, oh, you know what? That was always something that weighed me down in the past. Now I don't have to worry about it. It's gone.
Exactly. Well, and one of the trends that will continue to grow, as you all know it's either a love-hate relationship with it, but it's social media. So I'm going to let you talk
Mhm.
about some social media metrics and data that everyone should know.
Absolutely. So social media is here to stay. We know that. If you're not using your social media now, key thing to think about is, again, look at your website first, and then anything that you're doing on your social media should reflect and point back to your website. And it will be a really great tie-in to all of your branding, all of the great things that you're doing. It's great for brand awareness. So here you have to it's here you have to embrace the social media bandwagon and get on it. You don't have to be everywhere, and you don't have to nail every single platform, but you do need to be in it to win it. That's my advice on
Excellent.
that. So some of the key data that you're looking for when it comes to social media would be things like just your brand awareness. You know, how many people are engaging with your posts? How many people are really commenting on it? So engagement, your post reach, how many people are actually seeing it? Click-through rates. So if you are clicking through and having them go to your website, check out how many people are actually doing that. And then if you have something that you can actually track a conversion on, the conversion is giving them something to do. You can also put some traction behind that as well. So all good things when it comes to social media and brand awareness, and then all the engaging things like commenting and liking.
Exactly. Well, and if there's one thing I know watching my own studio social media channel is that just because there hasn't been a comment or share doesn't mean it's not being seen. So I
Mhm.
always remember that, this effort we put in at the studio side to keep our social media engaging and exciting and fun, it's worth it even if we can't feel the immediate effects. But this is why, Jill, you've done such a great job with our members in giving them a monthly social media power pack, which, for many of you listening, you either are or are not members. But if you are thinking about, how do I make social media easier this year, you might want to come on and try our beautiful uplifting. Every month you give them a bunch of content ready to go, right?
It is ready to go. So our power packs are geared to help give you the boost that you need for your social media. It's a done for you package. So you can use it as is, or you can take some of the overlays and the quotes that we give you and lay them right over your own graphics and use them with just a few little tweaks, a few little, kind of maneuvering through a graphics program like Canva or something like that. So it's a done for you type package. And all you have to do is queue it up in your social, schedule it out, and you have a nice group of graphics and social media posts that will give you a nice little boost into that next month of content.
That's what I love about you. You have so many great, beautiful things to share, and it makes such a difference. We use them in our own studio too. So, I think, Jill, so often we get the wonderful opportunity to touch base with brand new studio owners or studio owners who are taking over another business. Or, frankly, those who maybe haven't paid attention to local marketing. But if there was a trend that we need to really bang the drum on, friends, listen to me, write this down. Google local. Local Google it's the number one thing you need to focus on right now.
Yes, and you have some amazing data that you'd like to share that is mind blowing. So if you have not taken a look at your local listings, this would include, your Google My Business listing, Yelp, any of the things that people, when they're on their phones and they're searching for something, those restaurants pop up, the local stores pop up. Again, studios are going to pop up as well. So anything that you can do to tidy up these local listings, now is the time to do that, because Suzanne, you're going to share exactly why. Share some of the awesome data that you have pulling out of your listings.
Definitely. So if you haven't already, Google My Business. So they've changed, they Google likes to keep us on our toes. Over the years,
Yes.
they've changed it. But your local listing from Google, it's completely free. It's called Google My Business. And you can claim your listing. It belongs to you. It's where you can update your hours of operation. You can add photos of your facility. You can check your driving directions. You can link your website. You can add special. There's so many things you can do. But to not get overwhelmed, the first thing that I want to make sure you do is claim it. If you haven't claimed it, you need to claim it. And if you do have it, it's time to what I call give it a little facelift if you haven't already. So the first thing to remember is Google has that wonderful thing called the Google 3-pack. The top 3 listings, if you search in an incognito browser, dance classes near me, because the near me searching, people like, think about your phone for a second. How often do you type in restaurants near me, or like Jill, we've talked about it, dance studios near me? It's a local search, and it's trying to find relevant content to the searcher. So we really want this to be very it needs to be spot on. If they're near you, they want to find you. So first things first, to boost your spot in the top 3 are going to be photographs, content that makes sense, and then the next thing is going to be reviews. And Jill, people get nervous about reviews
Mhm.
because it's scary to put it out there. But these are like your referrals it's your face-to-face referral gone digital. We've done lots of trainings on Google reviews. This is not the podcast for that. I think we could do it, but bottom line is that's going to help you. So once you do that and you get in there and you start to look at the insights, there's a tab on your Google My Business listing called Insights. And it's beautiful. There's a few things I look at as it helps with staffing, and it helps with what Jill talked about with your website analytics. The first thing it tells you is, customer actions. What are the people doing who Google our dance studio, who hit this listing? Well, the top three things are they visit your website, or that's my top listing, and then they request directions. And then thirdly, they call. So what does this give me insight into is like, interesting. Okay, and I can see trends over time. You can look at it over a certain time period, 1 month, 3 months, the year. And it starts to help us know, when do we need to be ready for more calls? When does the website need to be updated? What I really like, Jill, the trend I'm watching for right now is the direction requests location. It tells you the areas where customers are requesting directions. What's interesting about this is it starts to show a trend on where customers are coming from for us. Like, why is that part of town more popular? Could that be a place where we could explore a second location?
Mhm.
A lot of people come to us, Jill, wanting to expand their business, and it is mind blowing to them what we suggest they do. It's very much like you have to map your customer data. Where are the people? They're coming to
Mhm.
your studio. So I love that. Lastly, and then we could do a whole day. We could do a whole day seminar on this, everyone. But the last thing I want you to take away from this is that it will give you the most popular time phone calls come in. Hello, staffing the phones, being available. When are people calling? And for us right now, our most popular time, our peak time is Saturday at 10 a.m. Well, that doesn't surprise me because Saturdays are busy at our studio. People probably have a lot of questions, a lot of recreational dance classes on Saturday. So that's where I can look at our staff and say, who's at the front desk? Who's answering the phone? Are we properly staffed?
Excellent. Wow. Good data that you have coming out of your Google My Business listing. So that's fantastic. So insights, Google My Business insights are extremely valuable. I love the fact that you can see where people are asking directions from. You can glean the best times to make sure that you're staffed properly for phone calls. Excellent. Okay, good. So that really wraps up how much we need to be taking a look at where we are in our listings, making sure that they're up to date. First and foremost, like you mentioned, get out there and claim it. We do see some very unclaimed listings that are looking lonely and needing some attention, right, Suzanne?
Exactly. Again, it goes back to, while all of this doesn't feel like the urgent matter at hand of handling, sanitizing classrooms and Zoom linking to students and dealing with kids that are absent, and managing what's coming next down the show lane. If you take away anything from this call, it's that the data shows you where the growth can happen, and it's actually your friend. And Jill and I are here to like virtually hold your hand through this, because this doesn't mean you have to understand everything. It actually just means you need to get a grip on the few things that make the biggest difference, right? Everyone's heard about, the 80-20 rule. 20% of the effort produces 80% of the results, and we're really kind of hammering home what that 20% is. Digital marketing, social media marketing, that's where people are coming from, guys. They have their phones in their hand, and that's the customer you're trying to reach. Don't be fooled by anything else, but they are on the digital world to find you.
They are,
So yeah.
absolutely. And going back to what we started speaking about at the top of this podcast is really how our enrollment is down, and we know that it's down. And if you're looking for ways that are kind of, pretty easy to just tidy up, clean up, and take a look at this would be a great project that you could even delegate off to your office manager or somebody on your staff to take a look and make sure that these listings are up to date. And if they're not, then that's where you can start, because any type of way that we can help build enrollment, we need to be doing. And this is a great way to start checking out these listings, going out to social media, making sure that your website is clean and as up to date as it possibly can.
Exactly. We love the fundamentals of really solid marketing. We see too many studio owners try to overcomplicate this, and we're here to help you try to untangle the complexity of it, and that's what you can count on from us. And I know, Jill, you're going to link in the show notes to some of the recent coaching calls we've done for our members. That if some of you listening are considering what do we do here, that might help you understand. And certainly, we want you to feel supported, whether you are a member or not, to know that we're here to help you and we're here to encourage you, and that things are looking brighter. We have a ways to go, everyone. We have a ways to go, and we're going to have to take it one day at a time. But kids are going to keep dancing. Their parents want them to enjoy some moments, even if they don't look like what they used to. We're coming through to the other side. It's going to take a little time.
Excellent. That was well said, Suzanne. So thanks, everybody. I am linking in the show notes. So if you have any questions ever about our membership or anything that we're working on, give us a shout out, hello@dancestudioowner.com. And with that, Suzanne, if you want to take us out with one of your last little tidbits of information or inspiration, that would be amazing.
Yes. Well, thank you for your time today and listening in on the key data every dance studio owner should know. Know that we are here for you. We want to see you grow in 2021, and we hope this helps you keep your passion for dance alive as you run and grow your business. Until next time, thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Dance Studio 411. Visit us online at dancestudio411.com for more great resources and to submit a question for a future episode. Our number one goal is to help you build a successful dance studio business and keep your passion for dance alive.